Hey, so welcome to Clarity Design. This is Photoshop cs5.5, and we're just going to have a look at doing some basic work with typography and how we can make that our own. Have a quick investigate at some of the options that come along with the text tool and different effects you can apply to the layers. Let's go for it and see what happens. So I'm going to set up a file. I'm going to go new. I'll leave it as untitled, I'm not going to save it, and international paper A4, and click OK, and then I'm going to immediately, as soon as that opens up, I'm going to rotate that in the image menu, go image rotation 90 degrees, so that I've got a landscape page, and then I'm ready to start going with text. We already investigated in a previous video this sidebar, so I'm not going to make any explanation of any of this stuff. And there's a text tool. If I click and hold, I get different options, vertical type, horizontal type, so let's just go for it. Cool beans. And then let's just have a look at the vertical type. Jolly. Okay, we've got vertical type, horizontal type, fairly straightforward, no problems at all. They go onto separate layers, and because it's a vector tool, it means you can go back and edit it once you've made it. So if I go back to my text tool, I'll have to apply that change there. So if I go back to my edit tool, I can click on that and it'll automatically select, and I can change it to whatever I need to, got typo or whatever. Then we can change it to what we need to. Click a tick, and we're done. So do remember to OK changes that you've made. So there's two things. Now down here also you can make a mask tool, particularly useful if I just go cool like that, and we'll just change that typography to something a bit bolder. And then I'm just going to go to see it there. Using paintbrush, I can start to, let's just make a new layer, have to have a paint layer there. I can start to paint through that selection. Please do remember though, if I press Ctrl D, that gets rid of a selection. Do remember that once you've done that, you can't then go and edit that text. It's not generated a text layer like before where we could edit it. It's only generated a selection or a mask so that we could start using it. Either to paint on or to remove from something else with some of the paintbrushes tools here. So that's that. Right, so let's go back to our text. One more thing we can do is if we pick up the pen tool, we can draw a path. Now this people always get confused with the pen tool. If I click and let go and click and let go, it makes a straight line. If I click and drag, the two handles pull out and control the curve. The one that's up at the moment is controlling the curve that already exists. The one that is by the mouse is going to control the curve that will exist when I put my next point down, like that. So you can see it's pulling it this way. We call those tangent handles. And if I want to edit that, I just need to go and use the direct selection tool, which is underneath the path selection tool. And I can go back and I can edit that point, move it around, change it as much as I need to until I'm happy with the shape I've got. Now obviously this is not a particularly pleasing shape, but at the moment I'm just going to leave it as it is, and let's get some text and type it on the path. So I'm just going to hover over it until I see the icon change. You see that? It's got a line going through it, and that means it's going to attach. Oh, I just missed it. Let's just try that again. There we go, got it that time. That means it's going to put it onto the curve for us. You can see quite a useful little thing, quite good fun if we need it, and it can be quite good for putting around contours of maybe, if you've got a person and you want to put the type around the edge of a person or a watch or whatever, you could do that using this tool. And again, the vertical type will also work with that. So that's that. Now I'll just get rid of some of this mess, so I'm going to press delete. Let's just drag it down to the trash, and again that layer 1, which is just an image. In fact, I could leave it where it is and just switch the visibility off instead of getting rid of it. Let's get rid of that one, which is nothing, and go to bad beans. So we've got bad beans here. Let's resize it in the middle, so we can see what's going on, and we'll just apply some effects as the last bit of the tutorial. So down here we've got some effects options. This is the one I always use to start applying effects. To just Control Z to an object. So if you click and hold, you've got various different options down here. If you don't know which one you want, just go to blending options. It'll open up the menu for you. Now people often go in here and go, oh yeah, I'd like a drop shadow, click on it, maybe change the colour a little bit. I've got black text so you can't see the drop shadow there in black. And I think that's pretty much all they can do, you know, change the size, etc. But actually you can keep going quite a lot with quite a lot of changes until you're happy. Changes so it's noisy, etc. But this one here, this contour, this is one of the best things about it. The fact that you can generate totally different looking contours and play around with what's happening there. You can also change with how the effect interacts with the layers below or images below. You won't be able to see any change at the moment really. Well, not much of a change with a lot of these because the background is just white, but if it was over the top of pictures you'd be seeing, or images or textures, you'd be seeing lots of changes going on. So do have a look at those and play around with them. You'll soon start to learn which ones do what, and you'll work it out. So there's loads of stuff you can do here. I've already put this drop shadow on, which is quite extreme, but let's go and have a look. We can switch on the inner glow as well. Let's go and have a look at those options, change that colour. So I'm just left clicking on all this stuff and change it to whatever we need. Oh, we don't want it multiplied, let's put it on normal, otherwise we won't be able to see it. Oh, we don't want red either, that was a really bad choice. Blue is good. Okay, increase the size, and I can give it a nice little internal outline if you like. And again we can play around with how that looks inside there. So quite subtle. I'll just Control Plus so you can see what that looks like. And how it's working in the text. So you can generate some nice effects, have a good play around with it. Do go and explore these other things, don't be afraid. If you click something you don't like it, you can always trash out the layer, or you could undo, and the way you undo or remove, you can actually switch these things off one by one so you can see the different effects without each other. You can also right click on these effects, if I can just get my pen the right way around, and you can copy the layer styles elsewhere. So I could copy it from here and I could paste it there, and then I've got, obviously let's zoom out, Control minus, then you should see that I've got it on there as well. Okay, so that I can switch those on off. So nice, easy, adaptable. You can keep using, like I said, if you want to get rid of it, you can trash out certain things, keep others. It's entirely up to you. So have a play around. That's given you a good overview of how to get going with typography. You can really go a lot further with it. I'll just show you one more thing, because this type at the moment I can still edit. If I wanted to, I could go back, I could click, I could go and change that. But the next action I'm going to take means that I can't do that anymore. So I'm going to rasterize it. I'm going to turn it into a picture, into an image. And that's called rasterizing. So I'm going to rasterize the type there. Now that's an image. This is no longer editable. Sometimes you might apply something and it will automatically change it from text to rasterize. For example, a lot of students like to use the liquify, which is great fun, but it's going to rasterize it. So it gives you a warning, but it's going to do it. And then you can obviously pull it around. And the reason I'm showing you this is because I just want to demonstrate that the effects get applied to the paint and the surface, so you can see that they've changed according to the new shape of the paint on the layer. So quite a useful little thing to realise that whenever you add paint to the layer, the effects you've applied to that will also change, which means that you need to be aware of what layers have got what effects and be using new layers if you need them. Okay, hope that's been useful, not too long, and I will catch you again soon.